Well, hello again. Um, it's a hard life, but somebody's got to do it, I suppose. It's the 5th of June, which is actually the equivalent of the 5th of November in the UK. And remember the 5th of November. What was it? Remember the 5th of November with gunpowder, treason, and plot. Well, I haven't been to the UK for 30 years, but from what I can recall, when I was there, previous to that, when I was a kid there, it was always raining and freezing cold on November the 5th. Obviously, you couldn't have a fireworks night on November the 5th here in Australia. The whole place would go up, you know, a massive bushfire. But in the previous video, I made a couple of mistakes. I said I said it was I think it was the 3rd of June, which was the equivalent of the 3rd of December. It's not. June, July, August are the winter months here. November, December, January are the winter months in England. So it's the equivalent of the 5th of November today. It's 26 degrees centigrade. As you can probably see behind me, there's not a cloud in the sky. I can't really see the viewfinder, so I don't know if you can see the ocean or not. You'd probably certainly be able to hear it. I just thought I'd make a very quick video. I've been sort of looking around a bit, and when I saw Gary Nolan on that podcast, and I can't remember which one it was, and he was saying, "What? It's over. It's over with the debunkers. You know, the war with the debunkers is over." I mentioned this in a previous video, but what I didn't say was that with all the hoo-ha that's been going on, with all the publicity this has been getting over the last couple of years, there has not been one first-hand witness or one scrap of tangible evidence to support ET coming here. Not a scrap of biological material, not a scrap of technological material. Not one first-hand witness has come forward. So for once, Gary Nolan is right. It is over. The war with the debunkers is over. The piffle peddlers, and that was another mistake I made actually. I didn't call them pathetic, because this is what it's now looking like. The pathetic piffle peddling fantasists have lost. It's over. The subject is dead. They should at least have the decency to bury it instead of trying to keep it above ground with all this, you know, UAP lobbying fund. It's ridiculous, isn't it? So for once, Gary Nolan was right. It is over. They have lost. The war between the pathetic piffle peddlers, piffle peddling fantasists, and the debunkers is over. The debunkers have won. There's nothing there, is there? This subject is as dead as a doornail. Something else I saw today. Now John Stewart, you know, the rubber alien. Oh, it's all real. He's found the real Victor. Well, apparently he hasn't. He thought he had, but he hasn't. I think it's pretty obvious that if you watch that video, it's got all the hallmarks of a fake video. You know, dimly lit, no sound, a couple of props there. It's obvious, very obviously a fake video. And the guy in shadow, Victor, I think is very obviously Bob Dean. John Stewart says, well, it can't be Bob Dean. You know, look at the stripes on his tie are wider or thinner than the stripes on Bob Dean's tie. How pathetic is that? How many ties do you think Bob Dean would own? If he likes stripy ties, he's probably got a dozen of them with different stripes on them, different colours with different stripes. But the outline is, I think, is very obviously Bob Dean. The way he's sitting is very, very obviously Bob Dean, and I think the speech patterns are very obviously Bob Dean. The whole thing is ridiculous. So yeah, it's died in the derriere. The thing is, will they will they have the integrity to say, okay, the debunkers won, they were right, we were wrong, there's nothing to any of this. Tim Burchett has given up. He said he's not looking for flying saucers and little green men. He said he thought there was first-hand witnesses, but these guys turned out to be frauds. It's a real shame he didn't name them. He said it's an industry. They want to keep it all going to prop the industry up, you know, like the contact in the desert that's going on at the moment. I mean, how much are they going to rake in from that? Have you looked at the presenters that are going to be there? Have you looked at what they're going to be talking about? It's an industry. And it's an industry that's flagging severely at the moment. As I think I said in the previous video, you know, Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, Gary Nolan, this new UAP transparency fund, they're going to lobby. Well, if they believe what Danny Sheehan has been saying about all this stuff being made public on the 18th of October, why would they bother doing that? They obviously don't think. They probably know there's nothing to it. I'll go as far as to say that. They probably know there is nothing to it. Nothing is going to be released of any interest in October. Danny Sheehan and all the other people that are saying, oh yeah, well, the historical records, you know, anything over 25 years, it's all going to be revealed. All these crash retrievals are going to be revealed. Well, no, they're not, because there's never been any. And I think Nolan, this little inside click, I thought Danny Sheehan was in it, but they know nothing is going to happen in October. They know disclosure is not coming. If it was, they wouldn't need to lobby for it, would they? They wouldn't need to say, give us your money, send us your money. We need more money of your money, more of your money, so we can lobby the American government. What if they're pipped at the post by another country? If there was anything to this, they would be chomping at the bit to get it all presented now. The first-hand witnesses, the tangible evidence, it would be there now. They wouldn't want to get pipped at the post because it would be such a monumental announcement. Whoever made the announcement will go down in history. What makes them think it will be down to, when I was talking about those that Sol white paper the other day, which is hilarious and irrelevant. What makes them think that other countries are going to be interested in collaborating with regard to disclosure? What makes them think an alien spacecraft, if one does actually turn up, won't just land in front of everybody? You know, fly over a packed sports stadium, land in a field, you know, lots and lots of people will all be live streaming it. They fly up the Thames, hover over the Houses of Parliament in England. What makes them think that they're the ones that are going to have to disclose this? Why won't the aliens disclose themselves? If they were here, they've come all this way. Why aren't they just going to make themselves known? Especially all this twaddle you hear about them being interested in how we're looking after the planet is true, because if an alien spacecraft turned up and they were interviewed, it was on every television channel, it was all over the internet, and they said, you've got to look after the planet, you know, go and hug that tree, then people might actually consider doing it. But, you know, abducting a lumberjack, or you know, standing at the bottom of some kid's bed every night for weeks on end is completely pointless, isn't it? If they were coming here, it's going to be a long way, light years across space. Forget all this interdimensional rubbish. Forget all this consciousness nonsense. You know, beings in spacecraft would have had to have travelled light years across space to get here. They're not going to come here without a very good reason. They're not going to stand at the bottom of a kid's bed every night for weeks on end. You know, they're not going to abduct a lumberjack or talk to a one-armed woodcutter in, I don't know, where was it? Switzerland, Sweden, somewhere like that. Semjas in a beam ship from the Pleiades. I mean, what a load of crap. And then when Billy Meyer fell out with his wife, of course, his wife said, oh, he's got loads of these flying saucer models in the barn. It's all complete and utter rubbish. There is nothing I have seen that you cannot put a line through, given just a little bit of critical thinking, just a little bit of logical thought. The complete lack of tangible evidence tells the tale. All this hoo-ha, you know, I'm a colonel, I'm an admiral, you know, and I'm a senator. Well, how do you know that aliens are coming here? Well, just look at all the people that are telling me and telling us that that's the case. That is pathetic. They're pathetic, piffle-peddling fantasists that, for reasons best known to themselves, just want this to be true. Desperately want this visiting ET, crashing ET nonsense to be true. And it really isn't. I'll make a bold prediction. Nothing's going to happen in October. You know, Stephen Bassett will die waiting for disclosure because there's nothing to disclose. If the people behind the scenes thought something was going to be disclosed in October with all this stuff that's got to be released due to the NDAA that was signed last year, 300 days, is up on the 18th of October, according to Danny Sheehan. Others say it's the 24th of October. Anything 25 years or over is going to be released to the public, classified or not. They think it's going to be. They think it's going to be. Roswell was real. This was real. That was real. When none of it is real. They're all going to be jumping up and down, saying, "Oh, these are doctored. It's all a truth embargo." What they will never ever do is say, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, we were wrong. We just swallowed all the science fiction stories, hook, line and sinker. They're not coming here. They never have. They've never been here. There's no evidence to support them coming here. I'll accept that. And just put this to bed." They're never going to do that. As Gary Nolan says, you know, just it's dead. The argument between the debunkers and the pathetic piffle-peddling fantasists is dead. The subject is dead. The debunkers have won, hands down. Not a scrap of tangible evidence. Not one first-hand witness. It's nonsense, isn't it? It's absolute rubbish. All right, well, I think I'll go and get some fish and chips. I might watch the sunset, and that's the west coast of Australia, just about 50 feet away there. I'll show you a bit of it. I mean, the sun's probably shining into the camera. But yeah, go and get some fish and chips, I think, and go and watch the sunset. If you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, as usual, many thanks. And maybe I'll catch you again.